Hi, my name is Michelle. I want to welcome you to the second channel, YouTube channel of mine. This one is dedicated to Alabama remote notarizations. If you are a commissioned Alabama notary, you know all too well that there is a limited amount of information out there explaining how to properly conduct remote notarization according to Alabama law. This channel is not for training, at least not yet, but I do want to use it to share my experiences, and hopefully it can help suggest some best practices as well as give you an idea of the information that I've learned and gathered over the years. I have done almost 100 remote notarizations since COVID. That's when it was first introduced on a temporary basis and then became law. But again, to keep this channel and the videos light and short, what I'll be doing is posting a synopsis of the different requests that I receive and let you know whether I felt that the requests could be done remotely, and if not, why not? And then I also want us on a subsequent video take a look at the actual law, just piece by piece, and drill down more. And I hope you find that helpful. I am going to share my screen. Give me just a moment. Do I really want to do it this way? I tell you, when you share your screen too soon, yay, yay. All right. So what I'll be doing is just keeping a list of the requests that I get. Today I received a request that I said, you know what, I want to share this with other remote notaries. And if you are performing remote notarizations now and you'd like to connect, here on my channel is a great way to do that. Go ahead and subscribe, and then I'll also show you how to become part of an inner community. But I got a call today from a bride located in Alabama, and the document that she wanted to have notarized remotely was the Alabama marriage certificate. I ended up declining her request, and this is why. Her fiance is located in Turkey. Now, I don't want to imply at all that just because he resides in Turkey, I couldn't do it. After asking a lot of questions, I was able to determine that the ID that he has was not satisfactory. And so one of the things that I make sure I do when my phone rings and someone is asking me to perform a remote notarization for them, I don't even get into when do you want to get it done. I go straight to, can you and your fiance satisfy the strict identification requirements? Because many people, both in the U.S. and outside of the U.S., cannot. Okay? So it's very strict. So for the bride, she let me know she had an Alabama driver's license and a passport from the United States. I was like, great. If you've got those two items, I am confident that that third piece that I'll talk about in a moment will be no problem for the bride. So I checked that off of my list. Then I asked her, all right, so the person you were marrying, what type of government issue ID do they have? And she told me that, again, he's in Turkey. He has a Syrian passport. So that is government issue. So I said, okay, that's one item. I said, what else does he have? She said he has an ID card for Syria. Now, I don't know a lot about Turkey or Syria. So I said, I kind of gave her a maybe on that. We'll see. I said, well, let's see. That's questionable for me because, again, I have not seen those types of identification cards before. So I figured I'd get more information. But then I moved forward to that third requirement, which is, according to Alabama law, the notary has to be able to check public and private records to help verify the person's identity. And so I asked her, has your fiance spent any time in the United States? Now, granted, I know he's in Turkey today, but for all I know, he could have lived here for a while. When she told me no, I knew then that I would end up declining the request because the database that I use to check public and private records or information is only able to check for here in the United States. That was not the answer she wanted to hear. But again, by me bringing up that initially, I didn't get her hopes up for long. I didn't drag out the process. Had he gone to school here, had he owned property here, chances are I would have been able to verify something about his identity. But because he's never set foot on U.S. soil, there was nothing I can do. Another challenge that I thought about, let's say he had at one time lived here in the U.S., so there may have been records. But what about that second type of ID? He has a Syrian passport and an ID card from Syria. One of the things that I've invested in, and I had this I've got this when I first started doing the remote notarizations, is an ID guide, ID checking guide. You may have seen this kind of book. There's one for the US. This one is the international version. What I like about it, and I just opened this up, hopefully it's not reversed on your end, but it gives me an idea of what a driver's license looks like for someone living in Dominica. And so when someone presents ID to me during a remote notarization, I require them, and it's required by law, to hold up the ID to the camera. I go an extra step and I ask them to take a picture of it and text it to me or email it to me so I can get a really close, clear look. And then I compare it to the sample in the book. I can check some of the security features. So this one was good through 2020. It is now time for me to buy another edition. And there is also an edition for US IDs. And so they'll have state IDs, driver's licenses, passports, and other sources of identification as well. I really could not offer an alternative to the bride. I did say to her there may be another remote notary out there that has access to a database that can pull from foreign countries. But I've been researching that for a while and I have been coming up with zero. The other reason why I grabbed this book is when I did look up, give me a moment, was it Turkey? Yes. When I looked up Turkey in this book, the ID cards themselves, it does have some English, but the challenge would be, can I really match an ID card satisfactorily with this book? It could be a challenge for some states, but it would be impossible without this. So I do recommend that you invest in a guide, an ID checking guide like this. And then we didn't even get this far, but I would also ask the question about how does this person speak English? Excuse me. And most people do, but it is imperative for me as the notary to be able to communicate freely, fully with the signers. So that was the request that I declined today, and here are the reasons. When I get another request, I will let you know. In fact, I have two pending. I'll be able to update these 2 blocks and I'll share that information with you. I'm going to stop there and then provide some other resources. I hope that was helpful. And let's see, I think I'm going to go back here and bring this down. If you haven't seen this already, I want to let you know there's a website called Alabama Remote Notary. This is one of my websites. I mention it because I'm not selling anything on this website, and I want to caution you to be very careful right now. I have come across 3 websites for 3 different companies who are promoting platforms for Alabama remote online notaries. There is so much wrong about that. I don't want to get into that this time, but in another video, I will just dedicate to talking about platforms. But I want to encourage you to really spend time on this site. I had another call from a notary in southern Alabama, um, based on she's attempting to do, I believe, her first remote notarization. And I really encouraged her to pull out the law itself and study it, because her question to me was, I need to know what type of platform to use. And any Alabama notary who asks that question says to me they haven't studied the law close enough. Because if you do a close read, I'm sorry, I'm flipping by here so fast. If you do a close read of the law, and if you go almost down to the bottom, that's where you'll find the actual law. You can download a PDF and print it out. There is no mention whatsoever about notaries even using a platform. And I believe that's on purpose. I don't think they forgot. I don't think they were waiting for anything. This law tells me a platform is not required. A RON platform, that was the question, is not required. And it may not even be desired with the type of remote notarization we're able to perform. So, going back to the bride from Alabama, the groom in Turkey, and I go back to this law every few weeks to make sure I'm not missing anything. But when it comes to identifying the signer, it says, the identity of the signatory shall be verified by the notary public. I think that is key. Using either of the following methods. 1, the personal knowledge of the notary public of the identity of the signatory. And so if I know the signers personally, I don't have to see any ID. Okay? No government issue ID, no anything. They've got a period at the end of that statement. So that, make sure you don't overlook that. Make sure you're not asking for ID from people that you personally know. And if that doesn't apply, we move on to 2A and 2B. The presentation of 2 valid forms of government-issued identification, one of which shall include the face and the signature of the signatory, and B, a process by which the notary verifies the identity of the signatory through a review of public or private data sources. So for the government issue ID, one needs to have their picture and a sample signature. The second valid government issue ID does not require that, which is good. If you're like me, you wish that there was a little more detail about this. I agree. This is the reason, one of the main reasons why I haven't done any formal training. There is still a lot of gray areas here. And as a notary instructor for other things, I know how important it is for me to give out accurate information. And if I don't give out accurate information, I understand that I can be liable or held liable when training notaries on incorrect information. So that's why I am very careful and cautious. I'm not trying to gatekeep for the sake of gatekeeping. I do this type of notarization on a part-time basis. Only it is not my full-time employment. So on this one, again, a thorough, oh, nope, through a review of public data sources or private data sources. And thankfully for me, in 2017, I became a licensed private investigator here in Alabama. And so I'm able to purchase a subscription to a database that provides me with this type of information. So that is what I'm using. The notary today told me she was also looking for a company to offer KBA. And I told her I'm unable to recommend one. One, because I don't need one. So that is something that I'm not pursuing at this time. But I believe the right company, there should be a company out there that can offer KBA services. I did check into this when the law first passed. I didn't find many companies. The ones that I did find, they were cost prohibitive, to be quite honest with you. So that's what I have to offer regarding identification. I'll end on this note. Please continue to move slowly when setting up services for remote notarization here in Alabama. Why? Because your actions are being recorded and will be available at a later date. So there will be evidence of whether you are performing this type of notarization correctly or incorrectly. In the new notary law that went into effect September 1, 2023, talks about notaries who fail to comply with the remote notarization law. So I am not discouraging you from this. I am just saying continue to be very careful. Those of you who are notaries and have questions for me, please post them below. Those of you who are members of the general public and you would like to get more information to see if your situation qualifies for remote notarization, you can contact me here. I believe I have a contact link on this website, Alabama Remote Notary. Did I pull it down? Yeah, I think it's further up. There we go. Here's a contact us button. Go to Alabama Remote Notary, send me a message, let me know what your situation is. So in the next video, we'll talk more about platforms. There'll be opportunities to talk about who are the ideal customers, the different types of documents that this type of notarization works for ideally, and again, an opportunity to answer your specific questions. I hope I think I had something else to go over. Yes, I just wanted to show you real quick. So definitely this video will be added here to the YouTube channel. If you are not already one of the subscribers, I want to encourage you, when you come here, subscribe, click the bell so that you'll get notified when I've uploaded another video. And then go ahead and click on community. I'm going to post some information there as well. So I'm moving from Facebook, which is a closed community, to YouTube to get a broader reach, especially since a lot of the people who use this service are in other states. And let me check. Yes, we went over the slides. We went over the website. Lots of good information. That crazy looking, here we go. Believe it or not, I thought this was a good idea, but looking at it now, months later, it's kind of quirky, but it does attempt to walk individuals through the steps of completing a remote ink notarization, which is the only type of remote notarization that Alabama notaries can do at this time legally. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you the next time around. Have a great rest of your day.